Okay, I have Griffin with me. He used to come very often, but now he doesn't need to as much. He's been doing really well on his walks. He's been a lot more confident, a lot more sure of himself, a lot more centered, a lot more grounded in his feelings, which makes it so before he used to be all over the place with his emotions. He would walk here, he would walk there, and it wasn't really out of excitement or curiosity. It was that he felt just so much he didn't know what to do with himself, and he can be a little bit skittish, a bit nervous. So it's definitely important that we work on a dog's confidence to really make them feel as good as we can. And so that's what that's what we've done for quite a few months, and now he is a lot more, he just feels a lot better, and that's really amazing. So the next point now for us is really to work on our greetings, more so just on how we feel about greeting a dog. It can be quite a bit of a question mark sometimes because we of course don't know every dog that we're going to meet. We don't know how every interaction is going to go, but it's important that we do still keep an eye on not just our dog but also the other person's dog as well, but that we are mindful as to which dog we're meeting or what type of dog we're meeting or their demeanor and whatnot, to really ensure that we have as good of an interaction as possible. And so if we get to meet some dogs on our walk, that'll be great. And then we can kind of see, even just from afar, we can do a lot. We can reward curiosity. If we have a dog that's very nervous or just unsure or just not very interested in greeting dogs, we can focus on rewarding just that curiosity to approach dogs. We don't necessarily have to, but we can just reward the curiosity on its own. And rewarding that curiosity is going to do a lot of things for us. It's going to make, first and foremost, our dogs feel better about the idea, and also make them approach or help them approach the idea and the dog in a more positive way, rather than if they just feel nervous or unsure and then we hope that it's going to go well. No, we want them to first feel good about the idea of meeting another dog. And so it's going to be very important that anytime where we see curiosity in our dog, that we reinforce, that we let our dogs know that it's something that we like. Griffin, let's go. So what do you do if ever you have a dog that feels a little bit unsure or is just timid, shy, somewhat nervous when it comes to other dogs and greeting on walks? Well, really the number one thing that you want to do is exactly what Griffin's pet parents have been doing, which is helping him take space, also helping themselves understand that really it's about being aware of how our dog is feeling every step of the way, whether it's about an interaction or not, but really helping our dogs walk away or helping our dogs keep space or take space from a situation where we're not sure how they're going to do yet. But if our dog is very happy-go-lucky and excited to greet and very sure about an encounter, sure, great, even then maybe keep it short. But if you're going for a walk, if you're just walking around the neighborhood or somewhere new and you're with your dog and there's other dogs there, really if you want to keep things positive, keep them short, keep them sweet, keep your dog moving, keep them engaged with you, help them know that there's really no pressure. The expectations are low because of course our dogs aren't already feeling really happy about the introduction if that's the case. And so by making it so they can take space, they can take their time, it really allows them that confidence, to have that confidence to be able to choose whether or not they want to interact. Oftentimes our dogs are, without meaning to, forced to interact or stuck in an interaction that they don't really want to do, and that's where it can become daunting for them, and they'll use methods such as snarling, growling, barking to let the other dogs know that they need space. And so if you guys do the same as the pet parents of Griffin have done, you will do amazing, where you'll see that Griffin is going to want to engage with you. You'll see that your dog is going to want to walk away with you if ever there's the need to, but definitely practice doing that more so than not, and you'll have your dog that usually is maybe a bit more shy or timid or unsure feel all of a sudden a bit more okay doing a little bit more than before, because they're seeing that they have options, they're seeing that they're not pressured, they're seeing that they feel good about meeting, and it's really something that feels doable for them moving forward. Griffin, let's go. Come on, over here. Come. Let's go. When our dogs are panting, what does it mean? What are they communicating through that? What are they letting us know through panting, through their mouth open, looking at us that way? What does that mean? Does it mean that they're hot and thirsty? Maybe. There's never any risk in maybe assuming that and giving them a nice break, giving them some water. But it's also important to consider the other reasons for why they might be panting, and especially if we're working with a dog, especially if we're tackling dog training and behavior modification, panting is often a way that our dogs can let us know, hey, this is a bit stressful. This is a bit too much for me right now. And again, it could still be affected by the weather, the heat, especially now in the middle of summer with Griffin. He's got a little bit of a dark coat on his on the back. on his back. So definitely want to consider keeping him hydrated and allowing them some shade or a break here like I'm giving him in my arms, and we'll get some water soon. But it's also important to really acknowledge that sometimes it's not just that, because we might think they're thirsty, they're hot, let's just wait till we get to a shaded area. But it can often be also a matter of they're stressed, they're overwhelmed, they just don't know really what else to do in that moment. And not that the panting necessarily is bad, but it's a reliable indicator that we might have a dog in our hands that is feeling a little bit stressed. And that can be even without much happening, that can be even within a short walk. But if there's a lot going on in their environment, and that can be cars, people, dogs, they don't feel 100% comfortable with those interactions, then it can be stressful for them just to be there. And it sounds a little silly, but it can definitely be a challenge for them to simply be there and feel okay, especially if we've of course done training and maybe in the past they would have barked, they would have lunged or anything else. So them also choosing to not do that and to just be, which is fantastic, that in itself is also stressful because it requires a little bit of effort. And not all stress is bad, but it's important to recognize that there could be some stress and that maybe it's a good time to give them a break, to allow their brain a moment to reset, a moment to just decompress. So that's, for example, why I have Griffin here in my arms right now, just allowing him some time to just be, to just take it all in without any pressure. And then you can try again. If you go somewhere else, you can put them back down and of course give them water and shade so they can take a break in that way as well. I love using the long line with Griffin. I trust him so much, especially on a quiet morning like this. It's very easy to not run into too many distractions. And really, I'm not worried so much about distractions, more so dogs. If we have a dog like Griffin that is not looking forward to every interaction with dogs, we do want to make sure that we have a quick response, that we have a manageable environment, that we have a leash that's not too long so we can always move away if anything. But overall, I love using this leash because I can give him a bit more room. He can explore. I trust him with random objects. He's not gonna grab them. The most he's gonna do is smell, and he loves to smell. It's also a good way for him to decompress. We just went on our first walk and now he's just allowing himself some time to just be, not expecting to run into any dogs immediately. If we do, great. We're gonna make it so it remains comfortable for him to maybe just look at them. If he wants to go and greet, that's great. We'll still keep that short and sweet and manageable for him so that he doesn't feel too overwhelmed. But otherwise, using a long leash like this in an open space, an open enough area, can be a big treat. Let's go. Especially if you couple that with some running, with some games, just being together. Especially when the world can be a little bit stressful for your dog, just naturally. Just being, them just seeing that, oh, it's not so bad. Griffin thinks he's going home right now. So I'm gonna recreate this, or think of this as a scenario where a dog might really want to pull in a direction, and what I do then is I just give them a second or two and then we move on. Griffin, come! Because oftentimes, come on, let's go! Oftentimes we try to focus on just getting them to stop in that moment, but if it's close to the trigger or close to the distraction, it's gonna be very hard for them. So I usually give them a second or two. If it's something dangerous, obviously we're not staying there for very long, but 2 or 3 seconds and then we move on. Because Griffin is right to think that his people might be there to pick him up. That's exactly where they pick him up. So nothing wrong there. He's just reacting in a happy, excited way. But if I want him to do something else, what I can do is give him a few seconds and then I can help him walk away. And this is gonna help with really anything at all that our dog is reacting to, whether it's excited, happy, sad, nervous, unsure. You can give them a second or two, just like here. 1, 2, 3. Griffin, let's go. Come on. Allow them a few moments to deal with it. Again, if it's something far too difficult or very stressful or even dangerous, we're not gonna wait. We wanna move on. We wanna feel safe. But otherwise, allow your dog a few seconds to take it in, to try to deal with it. Sometimes they'll move on their own. But then if they can't, then we of course help them do that. And the more you practice, the more they'll be able to do it on their own as well. Okay, here, come on. So we've got something exciting here. And if we're at all concerned, oh, that was good. At all concerned about research guarding at all, what we can do is show them how to share by having it with us. See, they can get excited, they can come lick it. But if they back away, which is what he did just now, good job. It shows up again, or your voice shows up, or your affection, or maybe another toy even, or food. But let's do this again. So I present it to him, we play with it, and then he tries a few things. He tries grabbing it, he tried letting go just now, which was good. Maybe it bounces, maybe it moves. Oh, we're getting some eye contact as well. That's good. So again, it shows up. He looks at it. He might go for it, and that's okay. I'm gonna wait for him to do something else. I don't want him to go further than this. So he let go, mostly because I don't want him to go further. Come back, come here. So we're gonna wait for him to let go again. I've got it here, right here. but he's more focused on me. Yeah, good job. Yeah, if he was focused on the toy, I wouldn't touch it at all. I want him to see it, acknowledge it, but he's more interested in me, and that's the whole point of this game. It's not about the toy, it's about us sharing something together. That could be the toy, a moment, but I know he's also pretty tired. Here we go, the toy's there, we'll see what he does. Yeah, good. And that toy doesn't mean a whole lot to him, but it meant something, so we started there. And you saw he took it and grabbed it and went away. I just made it so he couldn't go any further, but he let go on his own, and now he's doing it again. He's aware of it, but there you go. He chose to share and let go. So that's the exercise we want to practice without something too valuable. Otherwise, it's going to be too difficult. We want to practice with something that has little to no history or meaning for him and really just start there. So that way he can show us that he's got these amazing and good sharing skills. Don't you? He does.